Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Salamangreat deck profile. And this deck is a really interesting deck. It's kind of been taking the meta by storm. This deck is a deck that came out in 3 structure decks with the Salamangreat or Soulburner structure deck, and you just have to buy 3 of them to put this deck together, really. It comes with some awesome reprints in the Soulburner structure deck, and you can really make a meta competitive deck with just 3. Now, I have added a couple of extra deck cards to make this deck even better, and some really good interesting tech cards in here that you guys are going to be really excited to see. But it's a really fun deck, and I'm really excited to show you guys this deck. I've actually taken it to a couple of different places and dueled with it, and it's a really amazing deck the way I put this together. So guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and if you are a part of the notification squad, comment down below so I can give you guys a big heart. So without further ado, let's get into this tier 1 Salamangreat deck profile. So this deck actually, at the most recent YCS, had a representation of about 45% in the top 32, which is amazing. It didn't end up winning. It came in second, but it was just really amazing. This deck has done so well with it being out just so few amount of time. This deck is going to continue to get support too. So we're going to first off be playing 3 copies of Salamangreat Gazelle. Salamangreat Gazelle's effect is that if Salamangreat monster is sent to the graveyard except another copy of Gazelle, you can special summon this card from your hand, which is really awesome because it allows you to link some more. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a Salamangreat card from your deck to the grave, except another copy of itself, and you can only use each effect of it once per turn. So you can only special summon it once per turn, and you can only Foolish Burial a Salamangreat once per turn, which some of the Salamangrates, like Jack Jagger and Falco, really benefit off of being in the grave and getting some more effects off. So the next one I'm going to be playing is 3 copies of Salamangreat Spinna. Spinna, I love the artwork of it. It's just a really good card as well. If you control a Salamangreat card, you can discard this card to target a face-up monster on the field. It gains 500 attack until the end phase of the turn. That effect is kind of lackluster, but if it's in the graveyard and a Salamangreat monster other than Salamangreat Spinna and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard by banishing when it leaves the field. So again, it just allows you to link even more with your Salamangreat Spinna, because we don't really play too many cards besides the link cards in the extra deck. I have some really interesting text in there too. So the next one is I only opted to play 2 copies of Salamangreat Foxy. Salamangreat Foxy is interesting. It's not as good to me as Gazelle, but I like it as well. And I have some other stuff that I really like playing the deck other than 3 Foxy. When it's normal summoned, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you get to add one of the excavated Salamangreat cards from your hand. Also, for the rest of the turn, also shuffle the rest of them into your deck. And if this card's in your graveyard, and a face-up spell card or trap card is on the field, you can discard a Salamangreat, special summon this card, and then you can destroy 1 spell or trap. So it's kind of like MST and Pot of Duality all in one is the easiest way to explain this. Like, you normal summon it as Pot of Duality. If it's in the grave, you can special summon it back and pop a spell or trap. So, I mean, it's good, but I think it's a good 2 of with the amount of back row that we have now. And people aren't playing that much back row, except in, like, Subterrors. So I'm not that worried about it. So the next ones we kind of play in tandem that are both 1-ofs is 1 copy of Salamangreat Jack Jagger and 1 copy of Salamangreat Falco. Basically what these 2 do is the Salamangreats, these 2 can special summon them back from the graveyard. Jack Jagger, you have to control a link monster, and Falco, you have to let me just go for it. With Jack Jagger, if it attacks a monster, it inflicts piercing damage. That comes up sometimes, but it's not that often. Usually just using as link fodder anyways. And if you control Salamangreat Link monster, while this card's in your graveyard, you can target a Salamangreat monster in your grave, and then you shuffle it back into the deck, and then if you do special summon this to a zone a link monster points to. And then Falco, if you have a Salamangreat spell or trap in the grave, you can shuffle... you can target 1 Salamangreat spell or trap in the grave, set it on the field, and then if your opponent, if it's in your graveyard, you target Salamangreat monster you control, except another copy of the self, return that monster to hand. If you do, special summon this. So it lets you reuse like Gazelle and stuff like that. Like if you normal summon Gazelle, get the Foolish Burial, and then summon this back off of that to get back like your circle or something later in the game, it really helps out. I prefer playing Jack Jagger over Falco. Like Falco's my backup plan, but it's there. Then I play 3 copies of the Stratos of the deck, which is 3 copies of Lady Debugger. I've thought about dropping this down to 2 because it seems to get ashed quite a lot, and this seems to be the card that they end up hitting a lot whenever I'm playing with this deck. But basically what it does is it lets you add, if it's normal or special summon, you can add a level 3 or lower Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand. And you can only use her effect once per turn, of course. So she's kind of like the Stratos of the deck. The next one is my personal tech that I really like. And that's 3 copies of Flame Buffalo. The Flame Buffalo, Buffalo or whatever it is. What it does is if it's on the field and it leaves the field, you can discard a Cyverse monster, and if you do, draw 2 cards. It's just plain and simple. You draw 2 cards, and the really nice thing is if you get Power Code Link, the structure deck, if you buy 3 copies of Power Code Link and you buy 3 copies of Soul Burner, you're gonna get 3 Lady Debuggers, and you're gonna get 3 Flame, and you're gonna get the whole deck core for your Salamangreat. So it's like one of those, why wouldn't I go ahead and get them? Because the majority of players are going to play at least 1 to 2, probably 2 to 3 Lady Debugger, and some people opt to not play Flame Buffalo, but I don't know why. So the next one that I play 3 copies of is 3 copies of Ash Blossom. You need the 3 copies of Ash Blossom, and if you've got this deck, you're going to have 3 Ash Blossoms anyways, so you might as well play it. And then I played 2 copies of Effect Veiler as well. And if you bought the Power Code Link, you're going to get 3 copies of this if you buy 3 Power Code Links. So it's one of those, I'm using what I have to combine those 2 decks together as well. But this is my particular build of Salamangreats. That's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So yeah, pretty straightforward. The only thing that you could really change is I kind of like Salamangreat Mole because it special summons itself. I kind of dropped that at the last minute for some more hand traps. And also Foul, you can special summon it from the grave and it lets you have like some more rank 4 plays. Or special summon if your hand, I don't really remember, but it's another one that special summons itself, so it's really kind of a good card. It's up to you guys if you play it though. So for the rest of the spells, we're going to play 1 copy of Monster Reborn just to kind of give us more link plays and get some more cards on the field. 1 Foolish Burial to send our Jack Jagger or Peacock to the grave, or even Spinna to the grave. Foolish Burial, or not Foolish Burial, Fusion of Fire. Fusion of Fire lets us summon our copy of Violet Chimera. Violet Chimera is kind of a win condition in itself because it can get so many attack points. It can double its own attack points and do so much damage and really good. It's just an overall really good win condition. For you, Super Polymerization, if you're playing a mirror match and you activate Super Poly and fuse like a copy of your Link monster and their Violet Chimera and you summon the Violet Chimera or just their Violet Chimera and your Salamangreat monster, you can, or the Link monster, you can really OTK your opponent really fast because it's going to reduce whatever monster's attacks into it to 0, and plus it gains attack and doubles its own attack. So like it's just ridiculously big. We'll get to that in a minute, but you really need this. Then you play 1 copy of Sanctuary. Sanctuary is a necessity for this deck. You've got to play it at 1 in this deck. If you have a Link monster, Salamangreat monster, you can use 1 Salamangreat Link monster you control with the same name as the entire material, which is the big effect that you use this for. So like, if you have Sanctuary on the field, you can go like Heat Leo and then send Heat Leo to make it the get its extra effects on it. And plus you benefit off of having the second Heat Leo in the graveyard because there are certain cards that just benefit off of it. Like for instance, Will of the Salamangreat, which I actually play 2 of. I don't understand why people are only playing 1. I know it's searchable and I know it's really good, but why not go ahead and play 2 of it? During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Salamangreat monster from your hand or grave. Like, already it's Monster Reborn. Why not play 2? Or even 3? I don't ever see this breaking, to be honest with you. And then it has the other effect of that you can send it this card, face-up card from the field to the grave. Then you get to target a Salamangreat Link monster in your graveyard that was Link summoned using a monster with the same name as the materials. And then special summon Salamangreat monsters from your hand or graveyard in defense position up to the number of Link ratings it had. So like, right there, if I summon at least the Heat Leo, and I'm going to summon Heat Leo every game, just about. You make Heat Leo, you have this one in the grave, and you properly Link summoned it. You just target this one in the grave, and you get to special summon all those Salamangreats from the grave. So, like, why wouldn't you play this? Even if you just get the Monster Reborn effect off, it's still good. So then I play 3 copies of Circle, Salamangreat Circle. Basically, this just lets you add from graveyard to hand. Like, that's all it really does. Like, or not graveyard to hand, add Salamangreat cards from your deck to your hand, and then you get to target Salamangreat Link monster that was Link summoned using monster with the same name, and then a Link monster is unaffected by monster effects. I use that sometimes as like an Infestation Pandemic or Forbidden Lance kind of effect, and then 3 Called by the Graves just for added protection for hand traps. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So I'll go through the traps pretty quick because we only play a couple. 1 rage. You just gotta play 1 rage. You can send a Salamangreat monster from your hand or field to the grave, and then target a monster on the field and destroy it. Just good removal. And then you target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a monster with same names. Material, destroy the cards on your opponent's control, equal to its Link rating. I use that a lot with Yugioh later in the game, if it makes it later in the game. Salamangreat Roar, it's essentially Infernity Barrier, negates everything, which is really cool. If you have a Salamangreat Link monster, really good card, really awesome. And then you get to even reset this card, but banish when it leaves the field, so you get 2 uses out of it. And then I play 3 Gozen Match as well. I think Gozen Match is a really underrated card in this deck, and not enough people are playing it because it just makes it all attributes. And I mean, I'm only playing like light monsters, which is Lady Debugger, and I can afford not to summon her if I need to in this deck. And then the extra deck is pretty much just fire as well, so why not play Gozen Match and shut my entire opponent down? You can always side them out if you don't want them and play something like Rivalry of Warlords or something like that, but it's just an overall good card. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So first off, we're going to be playing we're going to be playing a lot of 2 and 3 ofs in this deck. So first I'm playing 2 copies of Yugioh. It's just a mandatory card that you have to play in the extra deck. 3 copies of Sunlight Wolf. This basically searches your Salamangreat spells and traps from your deck to your hand. 3 copies of Salamangreat Lynx, the Handicap Cat, as I call it. It just takes a level 4 or lower Cyvers monster, which is important if you have Flame Buffalo in your hand. You can normal summon it, get the search off, and get this off as well. Get the search off of this, get the draw 2 and the search, which is really good. It's like a +3 almost. And then this effect is that when it's Link summoned, you get to add a Salamangreat Sanctuary. That's when I only play 1 Salamangreat Sanctuary. 1 copy of Borreload, really good card. 1 copy of Update Jammer. This gives Borreload a second attack, so you can steal 2 monsters instead of 1 from your opponent, which is really awesome. 1 copy of Hinata, the Flame Charmer Ablaze, or just the Flame Charmer Ablaze. I really like her effect. She's really busted. I recommend you playing 1 of her. She's a really good tech. 1 Abyss Dweller, it just shuts down so many graveyard decks. It's ridiculous, so why not play it as 1? I really like playing 2 copies of the Salamangreat Mirage Stallo. If you can detach material from it and then special summon 1 Salamangreat monster in your deck, and if it's used for XYZ material, you get to target 1 monster on the field and return it to the hand, which is just really good to be able to bounce stuff. And then 1 copy of Salamangreat Violet Chimera. Like, you see how many cards in here are just Salamangreats, like, just so many. Like, we're only playing 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are not Salamangreat specific extra deck monsters. This is your win condition also if you get to have, like, if you're playing a mirror match, you want to summon this off of fusing their Violet Chimera and your monster with super polymerization, and then you just OTK them. Like, if they drop Violet Chimera and they don't take you out, you're gonna take them out. It's kind of like a chicken game at that point. So, anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this deck profile down in the comments down below. I really enjoy playing this deck. I'm really glad that they're doing more budget decks like this that become meta, so the average budget player can play more competitively. It just makes the game more fun to me, that more people can actually play. Even though, you know, this deck is probably going to get hit on the list in the next couple of lists, I don't really care. It's just going to be fun, or it may get cycled out by other more powerful decks, but it's still fun to play right now. So anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of this video down in the comments down below, and hit that bell so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.